Hi everyone, this is your Tampa Bay Realtor Mohr, and in this video I'm going to go over when is the best time to buy a house. So what I'm going to talk about is the different months. So I'm going to go over January, February, March, April, and go over the different months and tell you when is the best time that you should be purchasing a house. So I'm in the Tampa Bay market. I'm not really sure what it's going to be like a few months from now. It still could be a seller's market. Maybe it might be just a stable market. I'm not really sure. I also want to tell you, if you are looking at buying a home and maybe you're looking in another 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, you might want to think about buying a brand new home, because if prices are increasing, you're not having to wait. So that's just an option for you. So let's start off and let's talk about January, because that's the month that we're in right now. Now, January is usually a really good month, because keep in mind, November and December are the two slowest months of the year. So January, what happens, all the homes that didn't close in December are rolling over to January, and the builders want them off their books. Now, I'm not saying they're just going to give them to you for a real steal, but you're going to get them at a really good price. So January is always a good time to buy a home. Now, we are in a seller's market right now. I actually looked the last 2 years in January was a very good month, and a lot of the builders at the end of January started to raise their prices. Some of them actually started in the beginning of February. But so far, I was at a couple builders' homes, and both of them have told me that they're already past where they were for last January. So we'll sort of see what happens, but overall, take a look. Check out January. It's a good month to buy a home. Now, February is also a good month to buy. Probably not necessarily like January if it's a seller's market, because everything that was left over from December went to January, and then we're in February, and February is still a pretty good time to buy a home. People are generally looking. They're not always pulling the trigger in February, though a lot of them will. Now, when it comes to March, every year, March is probably the best month. It's just really good. And the reason March is so good is because if you're looking at buying a home, you generally want to get in the March time frame. That way, you're in the home in the summer. June, July, August, etc. If you have kids, you're wanting to get settled into school. In March is always an excellent time to buy a home. Now, when we start going into April, it really depends where you're at. Because if you're in sort of the lower price ranges where you have to worry about your taxation, generally April is not as good as it's going to be in March or May. And April is never as good as those 2 months. But depending on where you're going to be, if you're in the lower price bracket and you have to deal with your taxes, you might have to wait a little bit. And if you're in the higher price bracket, I think it will still be a pretty good month. But when you get into May, again, May's one of the busiest months, because most schools are ending at the end of May, and a lot of them are ending in June. So May's always a really good month because people want to get into a home. They want to start really going out and starting and looking at homes in May and June, July, etc. So May is actually a very hot month. Now, let me just say this, because we're not quite in the summer yet, and I'm not telling you you should buy a home in January, or you should buy a home in May, or you might want to buy a home in December, but I'm just giving you the different options so you know how things go. Now, keep in mind, if we're in a seller's market, the prices are going up, so you need to understand that, whether it's just a little seller's market or whether it's a big seller's market. Now, when we get into June, things generally will slow down in June. And the reason why they slow down in June is because everybody's graduating. I mean, you have people graduating first grade, sixth grade, high school, college. Everybody's graduating. So parents, grandparents, everybody's flying into the city. So June is a good month. Now, when you start getting the first half of June, it tends to get a little slower, but when you start going past maybe the 12th or the 15th, it actually starts picking up quite a bit, and then we go into July. July is always a really good month. We're in the summer, everybody's off. July is a great time. August is also a really good time. Schools, a lot of them start to get back in August. It's not like what happened in June when the schools were getting out. People aren't quite in that hustle like they were in the June, but there's still a little bit of a slowdown, usually maybe a week or so before the schools get in August. So August is also a very good time. Now we're starting to go into September. September is still a really good month. It's not going to be like it was in August. It's not going to be like it was in July, but it's still a very good month and a good time to buy. When we start getting into October, you're really going to notice things start to slow down because we're starting to get into the winter months. These are the 3 slowest months of the year: October, November, December. So October will be slower. Again, it's not going to be like it was in September. You're going to see it slow down a little bit. And then when we get in November, it really starts to slow down. And the main reason it starts to slow down in November is because the daylight saving time. We still have the daylight savings time, and we're going to go back, and it's going to be a lot harder to look at homes because maybe the homes will be, maybe they'll be dark by 6:30 or 6 or 5 o'clock or whatever they're going to get dark by, but it's not as good a time to buy a home. And when you get into December, December is okay. There's a lot of closings in December because especially when you're in a state like Florida that I'm in, and we have homestead laws, everybody wants to be in December so they could get those homestead exemptions for January. So December is a really good time to buy. Now, I've personally bought a home, and I think it was either December 23rd or December 24th, and it's because the home was fully complete and it was a really good home, and I was closing in January, so it was a really good deal. And you want to tend to look at these in December and in January and see what you might be able to get, because as the homes start increasing, if we are in the seller's market, they will be going up. Again, I don't know what's going to go on in the year. So I want to tell everybody the same thing. If you're buying a home, there's 2 things that you need to do. Number 1 is hire a really good real estate agent that knows what they're doing. And the second thing is hire a really good home inspector who really knows what they're doing. Now, if you're in the Tampa area, I would love to help you. I'll put my contact information below. Just give me a call. If you're in another area and you're looking at buying a pre-owned home or a new home and you don't really have an agent, I know people all over the country. I could definitely set you up. Just put your information below and I could help you out as well. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments or just give me a call or fill out one of my email forms. I'd love to help you. I do these videos to help you. So if you do have any questions, please make sure they're in the comments or send me something and I'll try to do a video on it. Thank you very much. I wish you the best of luck whether you're buying a home or selling a home. Have a great day.